I think. Hey, all right, Cyrus. Glad to have you on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I've been a
it's
big fan and looking forward to chatting.
yeah, it's nice to meet you. For real, we literally just met a few minutes ago, setting this up. But I was sort of alluding to you in that short conversation that I hear you on Clubhouse, running rooms and stuff, and this isn't BS. I mean, literally, you've been like at the top of the list of people I've been thinking I need to get him on the show because you've got your hands in a lot of stuff and they're not small time deals. So every time and especially lately, I know you've been highly active on Clubhouse and really promoting what's going on there. So yeah, I'm glad we could pull this off. You hit me up and said, "Hey, can I be on the show?" I was like, "Well, I'm in my mind. I'm like, well, doggone, that was the guy I was wanting to get next. So let's do this."
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I haven't been on any podcasts in like a month and a half. Last one I was on the Krasenstein's show, back like right when one of my projects NFT Plus launched about 2.5 months ago. So it's been quite some time. I think today's the first day of the fourth quarter. I think I'm not sure.
Is it?
Uh,
I mean, isn't it officially the 1st of October that happens? Or
yeah, that's right. So I might have
yeah,
misstated there, but first interview of the fourth quarter, so I'm excited going into
right
the holiday.
on. Cool, man. Well, I'm glad you were able to do it with the Deso show. We're the Deso show
Info
now.
show.
Yeah, we're in that
Love it.
transition. I've said this a few times probably on the show, but I'm still sort of playing it close to the vest because I think it's today or tomorrow. They say we've got some huge announcement, and I'm just like,
Tomorrow.
okay, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm going to chill, see what they're really up to, and then make some solid choices on how to do things. But so, what was your thought when all of this kind of came out? Especially with you guys running a node. You're running
Yes.
giftclout.com, which is a
So,
node.
so basically, how do we feel when they rebranded the protocol? We had spent a lot of time on purchasing domains, having different usernames that we've purchased, and so when they changed the protocol to Deso, it kind of took us a little bit at surprise because we had some ideas they were going to rebrand, but we didn't know what and we didn't know when. And so when it happened, it was kind of like a rush to try to pivot, rebrand, some high level conversations of where do we go from there. And after the initial shell shock, we worked through that. We really adopted the change to Deso. We've grabbed our websites, our handles. We actually decided to stay with GiftClout and not change that handle. So because it's more like a heritage feel when you have the clout inside of your name. Now you're like an OG project.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that was a really interesting rebrand. I think it's very good overall for the ecosystem. We saw the market accepted warmly with the reflection on the coin price going up over 200%, in 2 weeks. So that was really nice to see. And I think it's a lot more marketable now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of that coin price. Like right now it's at 139. I think it hit close to somewhere around 160 over the weekend.
Yeah.
And,
So
and I don't know what to think of what's really going on there. Like, where's that money coming in from? I haven't analyzed it or anything, but
yeah, so Notter's done like all these different interviews and there's all this press going out. So a lot of it is because of the rebrand. A lot of people and the unveil of his identity. A lot of people feel comfortable investing into the project. So you have a lot of outside people investing. We also have a lot of people inside the ecosystem doubling down on their holdings. And so just one thing I'd say to the viewers is, we might see Deso go down to 120, 125, cooling down off the 160. And then as we go into later throughout this month, you'll probably see us rise back up towards the 200 side. So, you
so
got to
what?
go off a little bit.
Yeah, I've just been basically just sitting back. I don't feel like I want to do anything until I see what happens on Coinbase.
Right.
These things tend to go all over the place once they hit a major exchange, and there's a lot of people that can speculate, and then things move quickly. And so, you've seen it before with other cryptos where they just kind of tank for a while once they
Major
start finding that what's it they call it, price discovery.
Right.
And we really don't have price discovery necessarily at this stage. I don't think.
Yeah, so when they removed the $100 support floor that we had for about 2 months,
Yeah,
we were in price discovery. That's why we dropped all the way down to
yeah,
55. But yeah, even right now, right, it's not a real price discovery because we're not on any real exchange, right? So once you have that massive volume for an off ramp, we'll really see what the true market price of
yeah,
Deso is. But to that note, and to what you said, I actually haven't added any money to the platform in I think almost 3 to 4 months. I only added money like once or twice, and that was
yeah.
it.
Me too.
So
Yeah, I've put very
um,
little money in this thing.
what I've been trying to tell everybody is there's actually a ton of money that you can be making from being active on the platform, using the tools already there, and really building relationships with the community. You actually don't need to start off with much to be successful in DSO.
Yeah, yeah. I think especially people that are going to be very prolific and doing a lot of activity and already have a fan base and all of that sort of
Hmm.
stuff. So now, one of the things that turned me on about this whole project was the scarcity. First that was represented in the white paper talking about price would be doubled every million BitClout sold. I thought that was cool. And then I like the deflation bomb, and sort of creating the supply cap. But then when you look at DeSo, in my opinion, in order for this blockchain to be usable by billions of people, the unit bias of only 10 million coins is very prohibitive. And so I do really hope they're going to be, splitting this thing soon. Like,
Yeah.
one DSO, today's DSO needs to be 10,000 or a million or whatever, some huge number, so that people, when they trade DSO, what we call, a thousandth of a DSO is a DSO in the new world.
Yeah, so I wouldn't really go more than a 1,000 split. That would put us in a shitcoin territory, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'm 100% behind a 1 to 100, a 1 to 1,000. There's actually data that shows it's pretty healthy
Oh,
for
yeah.
in our stages, and I think allowing more people in the wider public to be able to acquire Bitclout at a perceived lower number when the ecosystem's value is still the same and going up, I think it'd be advantageous. And I think depending on when this happens, right? So one of the things that I'm really looking forward to is the new UI, because that's the largest thing stopping us from mass adoption. And then once that new UI is here, and let's say the referral mechanic, and you have transfer and burn, I think they may have just added it last night to one of the nodes. I have to double check,
Oh,
but
really? The NFT part?
yeah, so we'll
Oh,
have to double check on that. But once all these three, four things are there, we're ready to pass this thing out to all of our friends. So I'm
yeah.
really excited for that.
So what were you doing before you got so
Before
heavily
Bitcoin.
involved with DeSo and BitClout?
So I was running a company called Slab Stocks, which was a stock options and crypto education and signal provider. We actually did very good during the pandemic. There was a lot of people were locked at home. You couldn't go have an income. And a lot of people, for a short while, the only place where you could make a living was the stock market for 2, 3 months at least, hardcore during the pandemic. Think March last year.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. I mean, the business went from, like, for example, 10K a month overnight over to 100,000 for consecutive months. And then I was a partner there. I left because I had some differences with my partner and I wanted to move on to other things. Um, and actually, just to bridge over, I had a large presence with that company in Instagram. We had about a 250,000 followers, and then Instagram deleted us during the election period. Didn't give us a reason why. We had spent over 100K in ad revenue, and 2 months later, after the fact, we never knew why. Now,
Hmm.
this being said, it's pretty disheartening when you work really hard every day and then
Yeah.
you wake up and it's all gone. Considering over 90% of our revenue was coming from Instagram, this was very, let's say, harmful to the business. And
Yeah.
so my friend Cody Kearns, he said, well, check out BitClout. It's this brand new platform, social tokens, and you can't have your account deleted. And I was like, I can't have my account deleted. That means that I can rework everything I lost with Instagram, and no one can take it away. So then I decided to go all in. Like there's no
Yeah.
limits, all day, 10, 15 hours to the max. And I went actually full time, like about 2.5 months ago, full time. I dropped everything
Wow.
else wise that I was doing. 100% of my income comes from Deso, and that's saying a lot. So I'm really
Wow.
happy to be able to do what I do.
That's awesome. And so tell us a couple of the things you're doing, the major ones.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So there's a lot of projects actually across the board that I'm involved in, but one of the top highlights is NFT Plus, which actually was the first NFT project that was verified by Nodder actually before NFTs were even included on the platform. But what we do is that we're basically an NFT creator fund and an onboarding ramp. So our team reaches out to people every single day through other channels to bring them onto Deso. We do Zooms with them. We give them upwards of $200 in free liquid for them to join the platform on top of the referral that they would get, and the Jumio and all that. And the reason why we do that is because we really want to entice people to come. We know that once you're in, you're going to love it, right? So just getting people in, and for us, it's very well worth the time we put in. And we also, once you're on the chain, we promote you. So we quote you on our feed, NFT Plus. I'm hosting maybe 10 to 15 clubhouse rooms a week, 30-minute, 1-hour sessions. All our friends come in. There's large rooms, and we can have a great launch party, closing party. And it's been really fun, actually.
Yeah.
As you noted, I've been hyperactive on Clubhouse as of the last 2 weeks, and I'm really enjoying that side of the community building. And have you had a chance to really check out that project much yourself?
Not really. I mean, other than some of the things I've heard you talk about on Clubhouse when I'm in there. What
Yes.
were you into NFTs beforehand?
That's an interesting question. So I was not. I had known about it. I had stayed away from it. And the reason why I dived in was because as an entrepreneur, when you see a platform shifting, technology shifting, you go with where the wave is. And so I knew that whatever this NFT thing is going to consume at that time clout for the next couple months. So I was like, look, I don't know what this thing is, but I'm going to build something great for it, and I will learn everything I need to on the fly. And so that's why I kind of like built it before NFTs even came to the platform. I was like, all right, I have 2 weeks to learn everything I need to learn.
Yeah. So you did a deep dive on some of these other like OpenSea and those types of guys.
Yep. I did a deep dive, and it was really fun. Honestly, it was a really fun experience learning something you didn't even know before.
Yeah.
And building a company around it. I think the greatest part, so out of everything that we do with NFT Plus, the greatest part is just helping people. What's one great example? Weird Unicorns is a great example. There was a clubhouse room last night. I was coming home from the office. I saw the room. I tapped in. After I tapped in the room, a bunch of people joined, and then I love the art style. I invested in the project. Next thing you know, Raj invested. Then like 15 other people after us invested. They had like 20 plus 40 NFTs. They all sold out at half a Deso, which is a very high performing project if you analyze the numbers. And everything about it is insane. It's already the avatar for NFT Plus right now. It's Raj's avatar. But what I'm trying to really spill out here is how beautiful community is when you add the functionality of the Deso protocol. Beautiful things can happen. I mean, this guy Mohammed, who's in Morocco, it's his project, and he couldn't sleep. He was up to like 5 a.m. his time, 6 a.m. on the clubhouse, and he kept saying, "This is the greatest day of my life." Like, thank you so much.
That's
so
awesome.
the power that we have and Deso has to make social impact on people around the world is why I'm here. That's what I love about what we do.
That's cool. So what's your feeling about, I mean, I'll just be honest. A lot of the stuff I look at, these NFTs that come across my feed, I'm like, that's just a hack job. Like, I'm not impressed at all. And then some of them I'm like, that's pretty damn cool, what they did. But Where do you think it's going?
Awesome. So this is a great question. So because the minting cost is so low, it's almost like one hundredth of a cent or one thousandth of a cent. There's no threshold, right? So I can take a picture of a croissant and mint it and be like, boom, this is an NFT of a croissant, half a Deso. And yeah, sure, that's trash, right? And so a lot of these series, even if, when they come out with this series, like the art style might not be the quality that you want it to be, and you know, maybe it was rushed out, or they
Yeah.
contracted someone from Fiverr
Right.
for $10 for 100 of them. And I think these projects, they just get stuck in the mud. Like they can try to cloudcast and they can try to spend $20, blow it up, but what posts are paid sponsors. You can see it in the engagement rates, and that kind of also deters people too. Like if I see 35 reclouts but 15 likes, then I know that you're trying super hard and the market doesn't like your product. And so I kind of look at the engagement numbers to see what the people feel about the project. And if I see that the organic engagement is very high, then I become very bullish. But there's a lot of projects which I won't name, but I won't go anywhere near them. So I think it's totally fine to block those projects or just to dismiss them.
Right. And then it's pretty clear to me that you need some support in the community. We'll call it real world. There's real engagement, and I'll use Clubhouse as real world.
Okay.
Just because there's people can talk and discuss and hype and play games with bidding and all of that sort of stuff in real time.
Yeah.
How important is that to the whole success of an NFT project?
A lot of people don't understand this aspect. Okay. So you need to have support in this space to be very successful. It is very rare that you come to Deso and you drop your NFT project and you just overnight become a hit. The way the algorithm is, you need a decent coin price to be able to get your stuff all over the chain, or at least help from those that have that. And so you basically, whether it's, Clay Oglesby, myself, or any of the other, Illuminati, any of the other players in the NFT space, you get one of them, behind your back, you're already, set for a good start. Now, the Clubhouse really guarantees, and, if you're hosting the space in Bitclout chats, for example, and you came to NFT, this is what we do with NFT Plus. Like you buy half of our coin, we do all the on-chain marketing, we do all the constant Clubhouse promotions for you. So when you have a Clubhouse room, what it does is that it creates this really live culture experience and community right there. And so when you have a live drop at the same time, it's almost like a magical formula coming together. And I've never had a Clubhouse room where the NFT artist that I was hosting didn't sell out, didn't have a successful launch, wasn't super happy. But I have seen a lot of people who didn't utilize Clubhouse, and they have NFTs sitting on the blockchain. No one may even know what their project is. They've never, for example, put themselves out there outside of the Deso blockchain. And you really need to do that because a lot of the active conversation happens, to be honest, on Clubhouse and Discord at the moment. And so you really need to have that offsite presence coming in. So if you're not doing it, to wrap it up, you guys need to be doing Clubhouse reach out. I can definitely help with that.
Yeah. So you guys are becoming sort of unofficial gatekeepers just through your influence. I mean, that's just a natural progression of social influence, right?
Yeah. And that wasn't the intention either. We started out obviously with a focus on onboarding, how many collectors and artists can we bring to Deso? But then we realized we can also use that influence to make sure once they're here, they're succeeding and they continue to succeed. So it's been pretty awesome seeing how different technologies help a lot of different groups of people.
Yeah. How can you get collectors here?
So a lot of collectors go where the art is, and they also want to see where the secondary market is active. So if you were to compare the market, the ecosystem for Deso now compared to where it was about, let's say, 5-6 weeks ago, 5-6 weeks ago, let's start there. The first hype cycle had ended. Things were not moving on the primary. Things weren't for sure selling at all in the secondary. Then you saw massive sell-offs happening on a lot of NFT projects, and everything was kind of dead for like 3-4 weeks. And now you saw a baseline really at the bottom grow. It's been growing since. The activity on sales of NFTs has been going up. The volume of sale on NFTs has been going up. The minimum floor price for a lot of NFTs has been going up. And the secondary for a lot of projects have been selling. There's a lot of secondary sales, much higher than we ever had in the first cycle 5-6 weeks ago. So
Yeah. And how do you measure that secondary sale?
So I'm sure there are tools out there. You can follow it on Chainsurf. There's a couple other tools I'm sure you can use. I actually don't use any of those tools. I just have a very strong pulse on what's going on because I'll, for example, private message each NFT project owner and I'll be like, "How's the sales today? How are the secondaries?" And they'll just give me the lowdown on what's going on. So I have a pretty good idea. For the crypto kitties, the secondaries are flying. Deso is flying. Weird Unicorns is off the shelf on the secondary, even though it launched yesterday. Cloudpunk G secondary is doing great. Unicat's secondary slow down a little bit, but that project is doing great. So there's a lot of projects I didn't even mention yet that are doing great on secondary. Whereas, again, if you were to compare to the first hype cycle 5-6 weeks back, this wasn't even a conversation.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, collectors see a lot of this activity. And so they say, wow, this is a really organic, healthy ecosystem. Back to the first cycle, you had Tony Wu and like 4 other dudes spending 50 grand each, buying up everything. But that was a fake illusion, right? So now you have real, actual, tangible excitement that you can come. So the collector sees that. They're like, amazing art. I can even collect and resale. My money's not dead. I do have liquidity to my art. I want to come and shop on Deso. Wow, they also have a bridge to Ethereum now. This makes it even easier for me. So that's what brings collectors here.
Yeah. Now, because in a way you're kind of acting as an agent or a gallery.
It's a wide variety of things, right? We got the gallery, we got the feed. The feed becomes an organized, structured feed. So it's interesting because you look at the showcase, the NFT showcase. I think I haven't checked on Bitclout, but I think there hasn't been one in over 60 days. You can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 45 days. But that whole feed was designated to highlight NFT projects and creators.
Right.
So if you're not going there, where are you going, right? So I like to have NFT Plus be a great feed. That's every day. You're not have to wait a week for a new showcase or 4 weeks for a new showcase. Every day, all day, you can come to NFT Plus. But outside of that, I want to give a shout out. Supernovas.app, Polygram. Those are great places to go and shop for NFTs. I use them every day myself. So definitely check those out if you haven't.
Yeah, definitely. So we could talk about NFTs forever, and then there's all this other stuff you're doing. But I do.
Yeah, we can bridge over if you want to ask.
But before that, what have you noticed? Because you've got your connection to artists.
Right.
What's been the feedback on how they're pricing and sort of doing the split sheet on like how much they're going to get in the secondary or their coin holders are going to get?
So I've seen a lot of 5 and 10 and 10 and 10. I haven't really seen any successful models over 10 and 10. But a lot of artists, again, in the first hype cycle, the minimums were all over the place. There was really no baseline. Right now, the lowest I've seen on a series is really like 0.25, and that'll be like for a 100 series or a 1,000 series. But 0.25 is the lowest I've seen. The more, and that's just like if you're just pushing a project out. Now, if you're on a higher caliber of art style and the quality in general looks better, then the baseline I really see is 0.50. And then for the very hottest / prestigious / is just jaw-dropping 0.75 is the floor that I have seen. So, and I've seen a lot.
Right, let me be clear on that. 0.50, 0.75. You mean 0.5 of it goes to the artist every sale?
No. I was talking about the coin price that artists are selling, like the minimum floor price for primary. But
I see.
In terms of percentages for coin holder benefits and for the actual artist on the secondary, I've seen 5 and 10%. I've also seen 10% and 10%.
Okay.
And I would, if I were to give advisement, I would say either one is good. I mean, you really can't go wrong. I like, you can decide if you want just a little bit more money coming to you as the artist, or if you want a little bit more money coming into the coin, right? To really
Hmm.
promote secondary and the growth of the social token.
Right. And so are you pretty much only dealing in artwork, or are you dealing in music type NFTs or service type NFTs or anything like that?
This is a great question. With NFT Plus, I've stuck with what I perceive as art. That all being said, I am looking to bridge into utility tokens, which we
Hmm.
haven't done yet. It's actually interesting because the Genesis NFT on Cyrus was actually a utility, which Brumum is one, and that NFT, just to highlight for everyone watching of what you can do, I had said, well, whoever wins this NFT, whenever I onboard a new creative to Deso, I will send you some of their creator coins. So that NFT basically pays Bro Moments for the rest of his life. He said, I'm
Hmm.
never selling it. But yeah, I mean, NFTs like that, I really love. I think Deso social and NFTs allows you to have a wide variety of utility NFTs. And I definitely want to be a space to
Yeah.
promote.
Yeah.
Now,
We
one
need,
last thing, if you don't mind. Regarding music, I want to find a way to really create a space to promote all the music related NFTs. I don't know if I'm going to do it through NFT Plus or perhaps it'll be another project I spin off. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Well, there's just so many possibilities. And, I've been just taking the slow approach, but it just in the back of my mind, I want to do something for the BitClout podcast or the DSO show, but I haven't really thought through the math on, I don't want to corner myself on something. Like if I sold an NFT that was a sponsorship, for instance, like you
Right.
buy this, then you can get one show sponsorship. Well, then you can
I would have bought it today.
resell that, and you resell it. You can get some of your investment back, but I would have to set that at a high enough rate that it's worth us just counting on the resale of that underwriting, being enough money to, satisfy what we're doing.
Right. I'm not one to quantify what that is. I think that's for
Yeah,
you. But
sure.
like for example, I'm just making stuff up, but I would have, for example, paid one DSO to be here because
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
value you as a creative and also your skills as an interviewer and really the space that you build. I respect it. So I would have paid one DSO. Now, when I finished my interview, I would have been like, hey Raj or hey Chris or hey Clay, great exposure. Come on here, talk, let people know more about you. It costs one DSO. They'd
Yeah.
buy it from me, then they'd keep sending it. They'd
Right.
keep sending it on to other people, and I would have paid today. So
Well, but well, see, but then I got to consider, well, what if it's somebody I don't want on the show, or what if I don't want this person as a sponsor, and on the secondary, I don't have control over that.
well, I think there can be a clause built in that you have the right to deny interviewing someone, and in that case, you would buy the NFT back yourself and
Hmm.
then relist it for sale for someone else. So I
Yeah.
think that's always a thing you can do.
Yeah. I got to still keep thinking through that. And it doesn't have to be full sponsorship. It could be any number of things that we can
Right.
do. But yeah, so I'm thinking through some ideas. So let's talk about
Some of the other projects.
well, yeah. Which one do you want to talk about first? Because I know,
So there's a couple. I want to talk about Market Raider for a couple minutes, and then
sure,
I want to talk
sure.
about Deso Arena and GiftClout. So Market Raider was so after I left Slab Stocks pre Deso, I basically created the company Market Raider LLC, and it's essentially instead of focusing on stocks and options, we're solely focused on cryptocurrency. And so right after this interview, I'm actually going to make a post on Cyrus and Market Raider. I dropped in the Discord link so everyone can come over there in the Discord. My friend Ryan, his pseudonym is Mr. Nice Guy on the Discord. He's going to be giving out a lot of signals for crypto. And we're pretty friendly to new consumers. So, like, if you're a new user who has no idea what you're doing and you want to learn, this is a great space to come. If you're seasoned and you're just looking to secure the bag and increase your profits a little bit more to, per se, let's say, fund your operating costs or increase your DSO capital without having to spend more fiat, this is where you come and do it. And so I'm really excited to be able to bring the space to Bitclout. It's a non-native Bitclout company, which is also worthy of noting. So it has stability and long-term longevity and growth.
Hmm.
That has nothing to do with the Deso blockchain, but we do have a social token on here. So A lot of our members in our community in the next coming weeks will buy, for example, and it's not financial advice, will buy the social token just because they really like the way that their experience is going through the program. So that's what I'm really excited for. And the reason why I started this project, so just to give some context, I put it on hold for 2-3 months as I pursued the NFTs because I like to do one thing at a time until it's autonomous, then move on to the next project. And I really didn't want to give NFTs my full focus. But what I saw on the blockchain was a lot of creatives that come on here with not much capital. Let's say they might have like $100, $250, $300, but they don't know how to grow it, right? They'll buy the wrong coin, they get rugged, So outside of just offering spot like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana trades and all of that, we're also providing this huge but creator coin trades. So I'll, for example, do some homework myself. I'll zoom the creative. I'll make sure they're real, and I'll tell my community. I'll be like, "Hey guys, this is like a real creative. They're doing pretty cool things. You might want to look at it." And so I think it's gonna be pretty cool to have creator coin like social token signals.
Yeah. Cool. And to be clear to our listeners, it's market trade. It looks like market trader with only one T.
Right. It's Raider though. So it's MARKETRAIDER.
It is. Oh, so it is. Okay, I've got it wrong here then.
Yeah.
I put it on the screen here. I'm gonna fix that up, man. I don't know. I had it in my mind that I read it as something different, but I was wrong. So that makes sense. And when you say market raider, all right, I got it.
You want to raid the markets.
Right. And
so that's really exciting. And just, I really want to deliver this home, land this plane for everybody. The point of Market Raider is just to empower you as an individual to have more buying power without having to go stretch yourselves out there doing whatever you're doing. We don't sell it as a make a lot of money quick or anything like that. That's the wrong mentality. We just want people to take their time, be diligent, learn. We think knowledge is power. And you can either go to a university or you can come and learn for free. So I think for the next week, it's going to be free for everyone that wants to come in. There's no credit card attached to it. Just come and learn. So
cool. I have to check that out.
Absolutely. And to bridge into something even more fun, unless you have any other questions about market.
No. I mean, you've got so much going on. We can't spend the whole week on this.
I just want to make sure I touch on all this. So there's this project that was called Deca, DECA, and they even bought Deca.com, and it was Deca.host, and it was basically a decentralized casino. And so a lot of people in the crypto space, they like to gamble. I myself like to dabble every now and then. So there's a project that's also called Clout Poker, which I've been playing a lot. And this Deca project was amazing. The interface was great. They had slots, they had blackjack, they had leaderboards. You could earn Deso while you played. You also earn Deso for referring people. So I within the first day of the project already has shut down, but it launched last week and shut down a couple days later. But in the first day it was live. I started playing, and I made I'm not kidding, 2.2 Deso, and I withdrew it. It's in my wallet in 5 hours. And I was like, wow, that's like $400 almost. That's the easiest money ever. And then so this whole play as you earn space became very interesting for me. I did a lot of gaming as well in my younger days. And for me, I think the play as the earn space is the future. I think there has been no sense of gambling. So this is a casino that we're building for Deso Arena, but it's also an arcade. So you're going to have your casino games, but then you're going to have all your arcade games that have nothing to do with gambling that you can earn social tokens just by advancing through the game or winning the game. Now, the problem that happened with Deca was that so this is critical. So any listeners that are thinking about doing a play to earn game, please get your numbers right. Okay. Giving out too much to earn, it's going to bite you when they want to withdraw. If your referral program is too crazy, so Deca ran out of money in 2 days. They went basically bankrupt, and they were in deficit of over 5 Deso because, again, the numbers were wrong. So as we're building Deso Arena, we're being very cautious that we get the numbers right because we want the game to last. We also do have a large amount of liquidity on the side ready to go to fund the project. And it's really exciting. There's a couple games. I just want to give a shout out Akon is doing this My Little Red Rocket game, which I think is
Yeah,
super
I've seen
cool.
that.
And I think that's actually integrated into the protocol. I haven't tried it yet, which is awesome. I think it's the first game to do it. Then there's Clout, who's doing a game through their NFTs, which I own one, but I own the John Wick one. So if you own a Clout avatar, you actually can use that avatar in the game, and it has superpowers and all cool stuff. So that's coming soon. And so we're hoping to be the decentralized casino and arcade version of the ecosystem. So I'm
Yeah, I mean,
so
win
just
Roblox is what I'm thinking.
yes, that's good.
That's because my kids, it's nuts. They don't mind running all over Roblox, making money, and I'm just like, this is just when can it turn into something where they can make real money? That's what I'm
Right.
thinking. Like, let's get college money going.
And
But
that project about Deso Arena, I actually reached out to Alex Toma. I just want to give a shout out to Alex Toma. He's building the Nanobots video game and BigQuest video game, which are both really great. If you haven't heard it, look it up. And so because of the work that he's been doing, I was like, who else to work with this? So he's been actually messaging me this morning to show me some of the progress. So he's saying we may actually be able to pump out this game before the end of the month.
oh, that's cool.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be really
So is your Deso Arena sort of like, those all represent game consoles, and yours is the actual arcade that people come to as a
yeah. So
place to find them all.
imagine by the end of the year we could have 20 games. And in any of the 20 games, you can earn DSO. There's leaderboards. You can challenge other players to beat their leaderboards. It'll probably be player versus system with a fair system, so it's not like anything's
Mhm.
rigged. And then towards the end of this year, as we get increased funding, we can build player versus player.
And well, how much of that data will be on chain where people can see transparency and fairness?
So on our actual website, it's going to be the full breakdown of what systems we use to make it fair and all of that. So it'll be full transparent. So it won't. I mean, we're gonna write it out on the chain, but on the website, all of that information is going to be there. The user can look it up themselves as well. So it's going to be very transparent.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's like I'm not, let's see, there's a token I was looking at years ago called Fun Token.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think I bought some by accident, and that's what kept me looking at it. And what I liked about it, and it's all about online casino gambling, and the use case is how do you create transparency so that people can gamble on chain and know that they know the numbers, they know that it's not completely rigged against them, And do
Yeah,
you see
absolutely.
that coming to DeSo chain at all?
Yeah, look, the way I see it is that especially if it's player versus system, you need to have some sort of transparency that makes the consumer feel confident that they have a good chance of winning, and it's not just a feeling that they're getting, right? It's tangible. And I think again, a lot of this is the player versus system. But when you're doing player versus player, it's not like, oh, Bill, you cheated this hand
Right,
against me,
right.
right? So I think a lot of that skepticism goes away with player versus player. Obviously, that costs a lot more to develop. And so we think starting off player versus system is a good way to go for the beginning of the fourth quarter. And, as we go towards Christmas and the last couple of weeks of the year, I think it'd be really exciting to drop player versus player in a bunch of games.
hmm So is this the start of the whole, video gaming
Indie so
ecosystem on top of DeSo, like where
I
you're bringing major games on?
Yeah, so I see it as one of the beginning steps in the right direction. You're gonna see a lot of different things. I mean, now that they're adding derivative keys to bitclout.com to DSO, you're soon gonna be able to also have subscription models, so you can do subscriptions via DSO, or will automatically, for example, like renew from the DSO you have in your wallet. That's not far off. That's probably like a month or two away at the most. And at that point, a lot of subscription-based games can also come in. And I think when a lot of game providers they see, well, look, there's Akon doing this, there's MiniCloud doing that, there's Cyrus doing this, there's all these people doing these games. A lot of these people have, for example, databases of games that they've had for many, many, many years. and they would just have to switch out some front end and back end to make it, for example, Deso themed or compatible.
Yeah.
But I feel like that ecosystem for gaming, it's like super exciting. Like not many people are talking about it yet, but there's a couple people just paving the way forward. Think about
Yeah.
back when NFTs hadn't even come to the platform, right? Myself and a few others dove in deep. Obviously, it paid off, but I think gaming is the next big space to come
Yeah.
in. Yeah, and you can
Well,
even tie into NFTs with the gaming, so it just
sure.
it's all like, you know.
Right. Right. Yeah. I tell my friends who think, oh, NFTs are just JPEGs. Like, what's the big deal? I'm like, no, you're going to be using NFTs in the coming year without knowing it. And
Absolutely.
they're like, really? I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. But what my concern with the chain is it's not fast enough. Like perceptually, you and I can use it, and it's like it feels fast. There's been improvement. But when I see like a project go, sorry folks, we haven't been able to catch up on these things we're dropping to you or whatever because of the API is, behind or something like that. That concerns me. Like, so you like you're running a node. Are you having issues at all where you're seeing like, wow, this thing's just not keeping up with the demand at this stage?
So look, different nodes, they're able to increase the speed of what their node is operating at. We try to keep our node at a very high speed, but we're always looking at ways of optimizing it through RAM or the cache or any other methods. And so I would say, yeah, I mean, like, they can always do things to increase the speed. And I think
I'm
that,
talking about the speed to validate on chain, I think. Or is there an
yeah,
issue?
that can be a little bit faster. I agree.
Mm,
And I think once the core team pushes out a few more developments, we should see that speed up.
yeah,
Yeah,
cool. So let's talk about GiftClout.
yeah, absolutely. Um, and just give me 2 seconds. I need to plug in my laptop real fast. Just give me 2 seconds.
Sure, sure. Well, folks, you're listening to the Deso Show. This is episode number 3 of the Deso Show. It's actually number 39 of the Bitclout podcast because we just don't know which way to go still. So, um, and we're talking to Cyrus Abraham. How do you say that?
Awesome.
Abraham.
Cyrus Abraham. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, cool, cool.
Awesome. So, to bridge into GiftClout, this is actually a fascinating story, and I want to start off by explaining like how I even got into all this.
Yeah.
And so, when I started my BitClout journey, I looked up to a couple of people. I looked up to Reed. I looked up to Raj. I looked up to Krasensteins. I looked up to Mario. I looked up to Design Stuff. And, when I'm a new user coming to this whole world and I see these giants doing their thing, it becomes like very inspirational. You almost want to emulate them,
Hmm.
to become like them almost. It's a weird cult feeling. And I think it was after like my third month being in DSO that I really had taken away everything that I possibly could have learned from these individuals. And I decided at that point that instead of trying to emulate others, just be the best version of yourself,
Hmm.
and radiate that out. And so, really, I took, I guess, my favorite things about each one of these guys, and I made it part of myself and my character. And um, the one of the things about Raj was that he was very giving.
Hmm.
He would just be giving diamonds. I think he's number one diamond giver on the whole blockchain, with like over $250,000 given out for free. He's done a lot of things, and in my early days, back when Raj pulls were a thing, I pulled my coin. Back when people were playing around with that, and I messed up the numbers, and he came in super strong. He saved my whole token. He's probably gifted me, well over $10,000-$15,000 for no reason, just out of the kindness of his heart. And let me tell you what, I've always innately wanted to give, to help,
Hmm.
amplify others, right? And having someone who I'd never seen, never met, like just a nobody named Raj, do all these things for me on this blockchain, in the beginning of my journey. Uh,
Hmm.
Activated what was already innately in me. And so next thing you know, I started giving out diamonds. I started, liberally 5, 6 diamonds. I think I'm ranked number 4 right now on the whole blockchain for giving out diamonds. If you add both my accounts together. So, but it's interesting because before Raj had activated what was already innately in me, I was not doing any of that.
Hmm.
And now I am. And I think it's really nice because the gift economy is all about just being selfless and giving a service or a benefit or any sort of value add to someone else without the desire for something in return. And if I were to do something for you out of the kindness of my heart, goodwill, no ask, and then you felt activated by being the recipient of that you then yourself, Bill, went and blessed 5 other people with a different value add with nothing, and that gift economy is very contagious. It's viral
Hmm.
and it
Hmm.
feels really good. And so, the idea of a gift cloud node came to be, and we've started working on it, and we changed buy to support and sell to withdraw, and we've kind of like shifted the culture. We removed the coin price, so subconsciously every day you're not a value, a perceived value of up and down. Oh, I'm worth 500 today, I'm worth 700. No, like you're a human being. And I think it's really liberated a lot of people to really look at the blockchain in a different way, to really treat people in a different way. Even our global feed is curated for anything that's philanthropy or gift aligned. Same thing with the showcase. We will exactly put people on global a lot of the times for just having high frequency, good vibrations.
Hmm.
We're actually, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this yet, but we're about to change the NFT showcase into a live gift feed. So you can real time live see all the gifting happening on the platform. And I think that would be very empowering for a lot of people to come and see, wow, there's all this gifting going on. This is a great space to be a part of.
Yeah, is that gifting in the form of diamonds?
It's all different. I mean, it could be gifting NFTs, gifting diamonds, gifting
Oh, I see.
creator coins. It'll be all one beautiful feed of people gifting. And I think, imagine the power when you come and you look at that feed. This is just the landing page to get to the node. You'd have to click existing
Right.
member login or join. But imagine the power of seeing that feed, right?
Hmm.
You see that and you'd be like, wow, this is a space where a lot of people are giving to each other. And I think that it really entices people to come and build here as well and be a part of it. So,
So how do these node runners differentiate themselves? Like you've done it, you've kind of reskinned a similar look to the original BitClout one. But
yeah.
I
So,
look, I wonder sometimes when I see that and think, well, why didn't you just go completely in a different direction, have a different look completely from BitClout? I mean, do you think is that coming?
so this has been a high level conversation for quite some time. And the way that we perceive it is that we don't want to put X amount of dollars into something when we don't know what the native
Yeah,
upgrade is going to look like. It makes no sense to spend
I get that, man.
dollar costs. So, um, again, they say a couple of days, they say a week, they say 2 weeks,
Mm,
they say this month. So our dev team has been on a hold for about 3 weeks, four
I
weeks.
get it. I get
We're
it.
not even.
Mine too. You know, I don't have a dev team like yours, but we're working internally to try and figure out what to do next. And I finally told my guys last week, I was like, I'm just not going to do anything for like 2 weeks. Let's just chill
Yep.
and let's do some basics that we can build on, but let's leave it alone. And everybody agreed.
Yeah, I mean, it's the wisest decision not to be upgrading your node right now. I mean, look, if you want to be building functions like increased wallet functionality, perhaps better curation, customized inboxing, even more, by all means, please go ahead and keep doing that. But if it's UI related, yes, we
Yeah.
could have changed the meta on the post. We could have changed the whole UI, the whole nav, everything. But again, I think we want to see what the native upgrade looks like so we can decide what do we want to strip away, what do we want to add, and then send it to our team to play with.
Yeah. So here's my concern about running nodes, because I've talked about it. I've talked to some people about possibly teaming up and doing some nodes, and I've got some URLs and handles and stuff that I think could be cool. But when I get down to it, I'm concerned about like for instance, I let's say I were going to run one for a different country or multiple
Right.
countries. Let's say
Right.
I wanted to do a whole bunch of countries. Now I'm faced with potential legalities within the borders of those countries.
In what
And
sense? Just
well, I
because.
don't know. I mean, since if I'm running a node, that makes me somewhat culpable for what's shown on that node, right?
Well,
Like,
look, so the blockchain is universal anywhere in the world. I think if you have the blockchain, the language changed. I mean, there's currently people that have been changing Bitclout into over like 10, 50 different languages, people that
right.
are currently working on this initiative. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that opens you up to legality in that country just because you have the language capability on translation.
Well, translation, yes, but I've had this idea, and and Raj and I've kind of talked a little. Raj doesn't really know me, but just in a couple of clubhouse conversations, we talked about when he was putting the question out about nodes and what to do, and
Yeah.
uh, whether I said it first or he said it first, but I think he kind of encapsulated it as, well, wouldn't it be great if there was like a WordPress type node operating system where people, when you create a WordPress site, you have these plugins and modifications you can do to that basic WordPress framework. And, he was able to really sort of um, analog the idea that wouldn't it be great if nodes were that way? Like if you had a node you could run that had sort of check boxes you could pick and plugins you could put in that
Yeah,
then
like
become like a WordPress, like your own node that's you configure not only the node runner, but the user could even configure to what they want to see.
yeah, so there's two aspects to this. What the first thing you describe is more like build a desonode.com. That's not a real thing. But imagine build a desonode.com or build a node.com, where it would be just like Wix or Shopify, where you would have a framework and you can just drag in all these different open source features and widgets and all these things that the community is building. That's one aspect of what you're saying. 100%. That could be a side project I build with Raj. We've talked about it. The other thing is on a consumer level, so the future is full customization on everything that you're doing on the chain. So I think different nodes are going to be coming out with different depths of customizations that a user can do. But I think whichever node is the first node that in your settings, you can toggle everything from diamonds being creator coin or Deso, and just like that, right? Throughout the toggle features, that's whoever does it,
Yeah.
you already won.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
agree. And um, I also, but I also think you also need to be able to plug in the right AI. Like I think there needs to be that AI needs to be a layer in that to really help with curation. Like
I agree.
otherwise, you have to have a massive team of curators. You've got a guide
It's
and
not scalable, right?
right, right.
You can't.
So I feel like the AI is, as much as I'm like scared to death sometimes about AI, I see the prudence of you have to have it built into this for curation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think curation is one of the so curation and discoverability on the blockchain is the top two things right now that everyone's trying to work on. And I think on a consumer, those two things are the biggest things that bother you too.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're not coming on with 10, 20 grand, it's really hard unless again you get team up with different groups like NFT Plus or you just have friends on the platform that can elevate you. It definitely. I mean, I look forward to the day where we have a better search engine than Cloud Vista.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's going to be needed for sure. And then yeah, I'm excited to watch how this whole thing's going, and I'm amazed at some of the effort people are putting into it, like yourself and Raj. And I'm amazed to see GiftClout being a node and being a prime node at this stage, because at the very beginning I was like, who is this Raj guy? I mean, we were all in these big clubhouse rooms and we're all trying to get to know each other, and there's this Raj guy giving away $11 a pop
Right.
to anybody who wanted it, so to speak, to get them going. I was like, man, this guy, where did he get this money, and how is he so willing to just throw it around like, here you go, here you go, here you go. And obviously he got burned and, and learned a lot, but, and wow, I mean, I'm just now remembering that he lost that account,
Yeah.
and the keys
Yeah.
got, exposed and all of that and all the things he's been through. I'd still would love to have him on here. I've asked him probably 5 times, but he's probably got a million DMs.
I mean, look, and I'm not speaking for Raj, but the man's given out over like 250K in diamonds. He's probably liberally, and numbers are upwards of this probably, but over $250,000. That basically in creator coins, whether they went up or down, the point of him buying is really the social impact that you make with the creator.
Yeah.
And elevating them. They earn the FR. They even want to rug themselves. Obviously, it's not what we want, but it's when we invest in you that we willingly know that we're building up your nest egg, and should you need to pull it, then it's your right to pull it. But I think again, it's really inspiring. Like, just give, guys. Like, a lot of people ask, like, how do you grow? How do you become known? How do you elevate yourselves in Deso society? Just help people and give, stay active, create great content. Is honestly, truly as simple as that. If you don't feel the magic by doing that, it's probably because you're not putting yourself out there enough. I know that comment can maybe put some people off that really feel like they are. But honestly, like, if you're not going on all the podcasts, if you're not on stage in Clubhouse, if you're not a Nacho, if you're not, on Clout Forum on the stages there, if you're not at the town hall, if you got to really just go in, and that's when you will see some crazy shit happen. I mean, I'll tell you what, and just as an inspiration to others, I probably, and I joined in maybe late April. I've already 15x. What I put in, I haven't put in an extra diamond, and that 15x was just from, like, again, helping others, getting into projects, being a builder, and just never giving up. I think that's the greatest thing. Like, whether Deso is $50, $60, 5,000, like, just never give up. And I think a lot of us that fought hard through Deso Winter and made it out, it was very gratifying, because towards the end of it, you were really struggling. Like, you and your friends were texting each other every day, being like, just one more day, just one more day.
So you're talking about the Deso price?
I'm talking about the whole ecosystem. NFTs weren't selling. Creator coins are getting sold. Like, everything was like this.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that the band of brothers could keep it going.
It really is. It's proportional to effort, and mathematically that's been proven. I think I had Salil Sethi on the show right after he started Prosper Clout, and he kind of walked me through it. And we looked at one of my coins, and it was right after I had taken like 3 weeks off and traveled, and it was just like, well, there goes my coin price. Like, it completely went down with the amount of, or the decrease in effort. And then there was a spike when I put out a bunch of podcasts, and it was just like, I see it now. I don't sweat it, because I have my own business that I'm running all the time, and a family. We're all busy, and I had to finally go, look, there's a limit to what I can do on BitClout.
And I want to give you some credit real quick. I mean, like, I love this pot. I mean, the quality has been great. I love the way that you do your thing, and it's I can see this podcast being all over the chain. I can see this being as one of the top 2-3 places people come to get their information. I really like what you're doing. I think podcasts have a huge space. We have a massive need. We want to get video streaming up on the platform. We want to get the V hours up, and everyone can read all day on the feeds, but if I can just come in, put on my AirPods, and listen to the different podcasts, that's what we really need. So, dude, keep going, man. We really need
I mean, it's a small audience. There's a real small cap on what I can reach right now, but I'm young.
willing to help you with that.
Well, I mean, mathematically, I can't reach a lot of people because there aren't a lot of users. But I just know that someday it'll grow.
Yeah, it's not YouTube levels.
We'll be positioned for it, and that's what I'm doing. And then I'm looking forward to doing some more, and it keeps me engaged with the community, because we can get on Nacho, we can get on Clubhouse and talk, and people can expose what they're doing and tell their story, but it's transient. And I like the idea that there is a need for sort of capturing it in time and having it there for people to refer back to. Like every once in a while, it'll pop up on my podcast feed, and I'll hear an old episode of my own. I'm like, holy crap, I forgot about talking about that or that story that person told. But it's there for anybody to.
And it's going to be great because, like a year from now, 6 months from now, people are going to be looking back at these podcasts.
Yeah.
They're going to go watch the first 10 episodes of your show.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, wow, this was, before it all blew up.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what's been fun as a documentarian to be able to do that. So
that's really
exciting. Cool, man. Well, we've gone about an hour here, and that's we're all busy and trying to get on with our Monday, But yeah, cool, man. Cyrus, I'm glad we did this, and let's definitely do it again, and let's follow some of your projects and let me know what some new ones you're doing might be.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me and hosting this space and giving me time to speak and share. And it was a pleasure learning more about you, and I look forward to supporting you as well. Yeah. So let's back channel and go from there, man.
Right on, man. Appreciate it.